I'm your host, Benny, along with my co-host
G. You can catch me on Instagram, Way to Go Smiles.
and today we got a very special episode. Not only because it's our first episode, but we got a special guest here, Silenzio.
How y'all doing?
I appreciate you. We want you to know here on our podcast that everybody pass away, but in here, you live forever. What that means is that the words you speak today is going to live forever. People going to be able to play this and get to know you as a person. So we just want you to know we appreciate you for taking the time.
Appreciate y'all for having me.
So we're going to start it off just like this. We want to know, what's your favorite quote?
Alright, so I wrote down 3 quotes, because I don't have like one favorite one right now, but I'm going to read the 3 quotes and then I'll break them down, on how I apply them to my daily life. So the first quote is, if you fear taking action from the fear of failing, you will never know what you're capable of achieving. So I apply this quote to my life by not being afraid to jump in the ocean.
Yeah.
Not knowing if I'm going to drown or not.
That's how you...
I apply that quote to my life, just knowing that failure is going to come in the journey to success. It's all about how you respond to it. And the more you fail, the more you learn from it.
Definitely. It's all about how you adapt.
So that was the first quote. And then the second quote was, keep people around you who remind you of your strengths and be honest with you about your weaknesses.
Right.
So I try to keep solid individuals around me that, will pull me up if I'm slogging or they see me bullshitting. Gee, come on, man, get your head in the game.
Right.
I try to keep people around me that's like-minded to me, to who I am, also that's going to pull me up, if I'm slogging. And I also keep people around me that let me know when I'm doing well and when I'm doing good.
So these people around you, are these people that you've been knew for a long time, or these individuals that you just want to...
Honestly, no. These individuals that's a part of my team and, close family members like my mom and my dad.
Yeah, building a team is everything.
Yeah, I would say, I got so close with my team, I would never even think we would become how close as we is now.
And that's a beautiful thing right there.
It's not even really from the people that I know my whole life, and that's the crazy thing.
That's the crazy.
That's how it be.
Definitely. So how do you build this team? Like, how do you go about it? You just networking on social media, or y'all come up?
I mean, when I'm building a team, I'm still building my team, but the first thing that I look for when I'm building a team is character.
Yes.
How are you as a person?
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to when you fail?
Right.
And just your character.
Mm-hmm.
For me, even when I'm hiring my employees, I don't just look at if they can do the job the right way. Right. I look at what type of person they are. Right. Because when I pay attention to the character, because I have to bring them around another employee.
Right.
So I got to make sure that both of their characters align with what I'm trying to do.
With your vision.
So that everything can flow the way it needs to. So that's a big thing. The number one thing is character.
It's character.
If you have character and work ethic, you can work for me.
And how do you define character? Like, how do you assess it?
Just seeing how people respond to challenges.
Right.
Putting them in certain situations. I test people a lot. Right. Seeing how they respond to certain things. If they having a bad day, how they respond. And do they bring that negative energy on the team? Do they bring that into the work environment? If I give them a hard task, how do they perform at it? Do they give it some lazy, they just half-ass do it? Or do they give it 100%?
But they hard.
Even if they don't feel like it.
Right. Right.
So that's how I determine those type of people.
Because when I was growing up, people always told me you never know who's watching.
So somebody always watching. Somebody is always watching.
Always watching.
Always.
So that's why you gotta be at your best, or best character of displaying who
at
you
all
are.
Times.
So what's the next quote you had? Well, that was the last one?
No, it was one more. The last quote that I had was, your biggest competitor or enemy is not anyone around you, but who you were yesterday.
Who you were yesterday.
So, that quote right there, just basically, man, you're just trying to be better than you were yesterday. You are your only competition. It's you versus you every single day.
Every day.
And, it's been times where I was worrying about this and worrying about that, and it's just I wasn't focusing on today.
Right.
On who I was today.
Facts. So you make the best out of every day.
For sure.
Every
I just
day.
try to be better than I was yesterday. I try to get better 1% every day, and I try to just focus on every day being about me elevating my game and taking it to the next level.
Brick by brick.
Yeah, not worried about what he or she over there doing.
Facts. So we gonna start off, man. We wanna know how it all started, man. How did you come up with the Silenzio brand?
Oh, so honestly, I didn't come up with the brand Silenzio.
Okay.
It was originally started by my dad.
Mm-hmm.
He started this brand about 20 years ago. Now, I took the brand back over in 2017. He wasn't doing it no more. When I took it back over, he was incarcerated in jail. So I took the brand back over in 2017, and I took it to another level.
The next level. And what's the next level?
The next level for me is worldwide.
Worldwide.
Having Silenzio and Death Before Dishonor being worldwide, all across the world.
And tell them more about your father and how you felt, because we was talking about that behind the scenes, before we got on the podcast, and how that made you feel, that like your dad being locked up and you out here doing.
So it definitely affected me in ways that I can't explain, man. Just having certain characteristics that a man should have, and it affected me in ways like that. Emotionless, I definitely was. I say, I remember when we was talking earlier, you were saying it made you emotional less.
Yeah.
I would say my situation was more so it made me emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being emotional to things that I might not should be emotional from.
Yeah.
And me getting raised by my mom, it was only but so much that she could teach me. She couldn't teach me how to be a man.
Yeah.
So a lot of my learning how to be a man came from just me going as life went, teaching myself.
Right. That's how it be. So how was growing up?
Growing up for me was lovely until I turned 13. I had a superstar life. I was one of those kids who I barely heard the answer no. I was a spoiled kid coming up. I went to private schools. My father, mom, they always kept me in the best schools, kept me around good people. So coming up, I was living a rock star life. Like, I had a party at Plaza 23 when I was 12 years old with XIB, T.O.B. at 12 years old, performing with the band. So, like, me coming up was just, I lived a rock star lifestyle, man.
Man, that's crazy, man, because that's a blessing, though.
Yeah.
T.O.B. you was performing. So when you got a taste of that, you had to always have that, right?
Yeah, for sure. But it affected me in negative ways, too, when I couldn't have it.
Right.
Because when my father went away, it was a lot of stuff changed. I wasn't getting all the new Jordans no more, the new phones. I just wasn't getting everything that I was accustomed to getting.
Right.
So, you go from living in a mansion. I had a pool in my backyard, theater in my house. You go from living in that to now I'm living in the hood.
Dang.
I'm living in the hood, Section 8, So it's like, that's the unique thing about my story. I was able to experience
both sides
of it, from having it all and not having it all. But it made me who I am today.
That brought that hunger in you when you didn't have it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's when you turned into a young hustler?
Yeah, for sure. I would say, my situation definitely molded me into the man that I am today. Just going through certain things, man, it definitely made me into a hustler for sure.
Right. So what made you take on a brand? Like, your dad was selling shirts? Like, you seen him selling shirts?
So when I took over the brand, my father wasn't even doing it no more.
Right.
It was on the shelf. It was over with. He wasn't even worried about it no more.
Right. And when did it first originated?
It originated in like 2003, 2004.
He was pumping that. Like shooters.
Yeah. In that era, he was pumping them. But my father, he had it in stores in like Miami, California.
So he didn't even think DMV when he first launched?
I wouldn't say he didn't think DMV, but back then it was different. It was no social media. You had to get your stuff in sales. Right. You had to be at certain trade shows to even be able to get your stuff in certain stores. So it was different back then.
How do you feel about Instagram and stuff now? The people living on the phone for real, the Instagram lifestyle.
I mean, it's a good and a bad thing. It's a good and a bad thing. It definitely can change your life, but it also can affect your life in a negative way if you too worried about, like I said, people posting their highlights.
Right.
And if you focus on damn, you comparing that to your life, that's where the negativity come in at.
Cause I understand that's when people. That's what I always understand about Instagram. Everybody posting their best moment. This is the best version of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't see the part when they at home and what they sleeping on or all that other stuff.
Or even having a brand, like people don't see the behind the scenes work. You know what I mean?
Right.
The dedication.
Nah, they don't see that. They don't see that at all.
The days you don't win, or the times you thinking, yeah, I'm about to put this out, this junk gonna bump, the junk don't do nothing.
It don't do nothing.
And then you got those times where you like, this junk not even like that, and the junk going crazy, everybody DM jumping, everything, you know what I mean? Everybody want it now,
right,
you know what I mean?
So how it felt when you first started in 2017? It was as soon as you jumped off, because your father already built a name for it. Did it jump off?
I mean, nobody didn't know about it no more. You gotta think about it. I'm selling to a whole different generation of kids. Okay. This is people back then who forgot about it. So when I got back into it, nobody didn't know about it.
Right.
You know.
Facts.
But so what I did was, my father, he had shirts just sitting in the attic. Mm-hmm. I used to take them to school and wham, giving them to my cousins. I went to school with my cousins, giving them to some of my friends, and we seen how people was reacting to it. Like, people was like, I'm fucking with this shit. Like, they was really fucking with it. So I'm like, man, maybe I should start back selling this shit again.
Right.
Because that was just the type of reactions I was getting. I'm like, I might as well start selling this shit again. And it all started from there.
So I think 2017, I think 2017, Instagram was out in 2017.
Yeah, Instagram was out, but it was definitely out, but it definitely ain't what it was today.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a click of a button.
I was pushing hard on Snapchat back then. I was going hard on Snapchat too back then at 2017, but
it's important to use all the media outlets.
Yeah, I'm on everything.
I'm trying to get there.
And where they can find you at?
Putting that work out as far as like the social media or whatever. You know what I mean? It's hard if you ain't never lived the social media lifestyle and that's what's going on. You feel?
I agree.
So it's like,
I agree.
And keeping it separate. How you doing good with that? Like keeping your real life away from your social media for real. How you doing with that?
I share what I want to share. You know, I keep my personal life off the internet. You know, I don't really agree with moving like that, but I use it as just strictly business, and I understand what I have to show.
Right.
Yeah. I understand what I need to show, and I understand what I don't need to show. Right. So that's how I kind of keep that balance. And I'm like, my father just coming home, I'm trying to get him savvy on social media, because he not with social media at all. He rather just stay behind the scenes. But I'm telling him, like, you know, we gotta get out here and share our story together.
Right. Facts. And that story is important.
Right.
So not having your dad, how did that make you who you are today? Because a lot of kids don't have their dad.
It made me hungry. It made me hungry, man. It turned me into a man early. You know, the day the FBI raided my house at 13, I turned into a man. For sure.
And why you say you became a man that day?
Just the struggles that it brought all over, just life changing so drastically fast. Like I said, if you go from living in a mansion to living in the hood in the blink of an eye, like you used to getting all the new jobs and doing this, doing that every weekend, and now you can't even get that no more. Now your water off. Mm-hmm. You know, now you go in the house, it ain't really no food in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I also say my mother tears made me a man.
Facts. So what's your definition of a man?
My definition of a man is a man that provides for his family, is a man of his word, an honest man, you know, standing on his word. That's pretty much a definition of a man.
Standing on his word. That's definitely what it's all about. So
a word is everything.
Definitely.
A word is everything.
You know, of course, more than just standing on your word, but just, you know.
And I just learned whole time more like what a man is and more emotions and stuff that you need as far as being a man. Because I thought a man just provide and protect.
Right.
So I grew up like a long time. I'm just thinking like, shoot, I'm a man if I'm paying the bills, I'm buying everything, doing everything. And ain't nobody going to touch what's mine. You know what I mean? So I just, for a long time, then they started telling me like, nah, there's more to it than that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So Like, I like how you said just more than providing and protecting, man, is this and that. Because right now outside there's a bunch of boys running around. There ain't no real men outside.
That's why I asked
you. You know what I mean? So you gotta really like have some conversations with people to real life, bring everybody on one pedestal of what a man is and what y'all doing ain't on man time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I honestly can say, like, just growing up, even conversations that I had with my father, like, just because you provide, that don't mean you're a man.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, the streets cause pain to my family. Yeah, I had everything, but I really wasn't spending that much time with my father coming up.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I had everything, though. He took care of me, taking care of me, but that didn't help me be a man.
Right, because you had that quality time with him.
Right, I didn't have no quality time with my father at all. Like, I couldn't just go out probably in certain public places with my father. Just ride on bike rides. Just regular stuff a dad and son do.
You take for granted.
Right, because my father was living a different type of lifestyle. Right. So I couldn't really just do normal stuff a kid to do with their dad. You know what I'm saying? Right. He provided everything for me, but that quality time means everything.
Yeah, it does. So which one would you rather trade it, the money or the time?
The time.
The time.
Time. Fuck the money.
Facts. That's what it's all about. Cause that time you can't get back.
And you can't get back, man. You can't get back, man. I done been through a lot by not having my father there. Just shit I felt just by not having no man there, man.
Right. So what did it take from you when you think not having your dad now that you have him now that you didn't have him growing up? Like, what did you, now that you know like the difference between the two?
I mean, now I would say, you know, he definitely did his best from trying to be a father from prison, but now, man, I just feel like I'm a little bit more confident. Mm-hmm. Certain shit just instilled in me now just by being around his energy. Just seeing how he moves. He don't even gotta say nothing. Just seeing his actions, seeing his energy.
Right. That energy, I'm telling you, that's big. You know, I'm big on energy. Man, that's why you want to be around people with great energy.
Great energy. No, that's and I believe in peace. Peace comes first, you know what I mean? Like I tell people all the time, like right now there's a lot of mental health, you know what I mean, issues because people ain't giving themselves enough peace. Right. You know what I mean? I put peace before my son. Facts. That's how important peace is, you know what I mean? If I ain't at peace with myself, I can't give my son who I really am. Right, facts. You know what I mean? He gonna be like, what the fuck wrong with that? You know what I mean? Why dad acting like that? Why that? So I try to stay peaceful as possible, you know what I mean? So he could feel it. He could look at me and, you know what I mean, tell when his dad at peace from the smile we give each other when we see each other. You feel
Facts.
Me?
That's big.
So yeah,
and you getting that quality time, but you ain't have your dad either.
My dad did like 9 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I understand exactly what he's saying as far as like, and that's another thing, I don't want to repeat that. You know what I mean? And I want my son to break the generational curse. You know what I mean? Our last name being incarcerated. You know what I mean? So like when I first had him, a few months later I went in. You know what I mean? So I'm in that joint beefing like, I'm doing the same thing my dad did, for real. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't just, like, everybody seeing their dad on Father's Day or doing this or hanging with their dad, throwing the football. Like, I ain't want to do nothing. You know what I mean? Once he got locked up, it's like, who the fuck gonna tell me what to do? Right. And he tried from the jail, but it's like, nigga, like, let's be for real. You start getting older and older, you like, dad, like, you talking to me, you know what I mean, through the phone, like, you can't whoop me, you can't really, like, you can't discipline me from in there, you know what I mean, so I just started, I was, like, doing what I had to do.
So why the name Silenzio?
Why the name Silenzio?
Why that name?
I would say my father named the name Silenzio because he was standing on those principles. He was really living that lifestyle, so the way he embedded the brand, he was living like that. So that's how the name really Silenzio came about.
And what the brand means?
Silenzio means silent in Italian.
In Italian. Okay. Okay. Just be quiet. Just keep your ears open. Just listen. That's what you really gotta do. You just gotta sit back in the room and just listen.
Just be quiet.
Facts.
And I see you got that I fuck on the first date.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, tell us about that.
This a hit right here.
I know
this
it. It's that banger.
This a hit, man. This motherfucker number one on the charts right now.
Doing numbers.
Nah, for real, but
because I seen when I look at your page, you even made a separate page for that because it's doing so many numbers.
yeah, it's just like at
You
this
might
point,
make that an entity, huh?
I ain't gonna lie to you. At this point, I had to separate it and make it a separate brand because I didn't want it clashing with my Silenzio brand. It stand for two totally different things. You know what I'm saying? So
facts.
I'm working on branching it off.
Right, because you know the difference. So with that brand, what's the meaning you gonna go for that brand? Like the message you want to get out for that brand?
It ain't no message.
It's just let's get it.
It ain't a message. It's no message. I can't say it's no message.
No message. Let's run it up with that brand.
It's no message. It's no message.
He said there's no message.
Because it's like what I did with First Date. Why I started another brand is because I can change this into many things. I can say I fuck on the first night.
Right.
I fuck on the first link.
Right.
I fuck with my socks on. I could switch it as many ways, you know. So I just rather make the brand just First Date.
Right.
You know. Right. And then I can also do positive messages too. I pray on the first date.
Right.
You know, I can flip it 100. I can flip it. I like that. I can flip it 100. I can flip it 100 ways.
Yeah.
So how you came up with that?
What?
That just I fuck on the first night. Like how it come up?
So I didn't come up with it.
Okay.
My graphic artist Rob, he sent me just a picture of a fat kid. Shirt say I fuck on the first date.
Right.
He like, would you sell this? I said, yeah, I'm a hustler.
Right.
I already knew what it was going to do, bro. I knew what it was going to do.
Why you knew that? How you, is a feeling
bro,
you got?
I just know, like, this shit catching people out. Like,
Caught
that
your
shit, yeah, I'm like, but it ain't no way this shit ain't going to sell. And then I know the type of generation we living in, too. Yeah. I'm like, people going to wear this shit.
It's just because it's toxic.
Yeah, I'm like, people going to wear this shit. So,
so
that's how it pretty much came about. He sent it to me. I printed up some shirts.
Right. Was that like that was the original design? That was the first design you went with?
Yeah, that was the first design. Right. We didn't change. I didn't change
another
nothing.
Question. Whole time I was on your page probably like a few weeks ago with somebody girlfriend ripped their shirt up or something.
Yeah.
I mean, hear them you be getting up people like.
Hey, look, I ain't gonna lie. That was the first. That was the first. Look, that was the first time I ever seen something like that. Cause usually I had couples come to the store, they'd buy it together and they'll wear it out together.
Oh yeah, you got a whole movement, huh?
Yeah, they'd do
like
it together.
That.
Some couples wear it together. So that was my first time actually seeing something like that. I was definitely laughing at that shit though.
Yeah, she was beefing about that. Like, what you mean?
I told that man, you could buy anything else but that.
Dang. But that was good promotion though.
Yeah, for sure. It was
facts.
The content behind it be cool. I seen a few videos you put out. It was cool. Definitely the last one.
Oh yeah, that last one.
The Jasmine jump.
Yeah, that last one went out for sure.
I like that jump.
Yeah, we see each other.
It was different.
Yeah, see, I've been like with my content, I'm real crazy with the content.